finally live here for the British Grand Prix here, round 7 of 18 here for ISRL Tier 2's championship. I'm your host as usual, Fallen Monkeys, back again this week here with my co-host ISRL Estunik. How you doing today, Estunik?
That's going pretty good. How about you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. So we're already jumping right around in the middle of qualifying, I would say. There's only one time set up on the board, and that's by Gexy with a 126.4. So thankfully we didn't miss too much, other than, I guess, drivers doing their out laps. But now we're going to start seeing some times put up. AJ Wuhan coming crossing the line, 128.5. As I'm just trying to take the time to get ready. It looks like we've got 15 drivers here on the grid as well. Oh, well, Bumblebee actually sets a 126.2. Vito completely knocks it out of the water now with a 125.7. I'm just going to see all the times coming in. So just as I get everything ready, do you mind just taking us through what we've seen so far?
Absolutely. So far, we see all these guys. A bit mixed strategy here. We got a couple soft runners. Obviously, Vito on the soft, setting that 125.7. McCrew's right behind him on the soft as well, 126.25. And then, and there goes
Feral Fury, 125. Yeah. So already we're seeing these mid 125 times dropping pretty early here in qualifying, which is showing the pace that some of these Tier 2 drivers have. Now let's actually see who is on a lap so far. It looks like Nude Potato's on a lap for that Red Bull car. He's on the medium tires, so I don't think we'll see him unless he's got a blistering lap too far up the order. But you could be at an advantage here around Silverstone with starting on those medium tires, because as we've seen all week, it seems the tire wear.
He runs wide through comps.
Yep, runs wide, so much for that. He is on 0 ERS though, so I think he might be planning another lap, just getting those tires heated up as well as they can be. But I was gonna make a point where, contrarily to what we saw in the actual British Grand Prix and the actual F1 races, with tires exploding left, right, and center, it doesn't appear as though this is the case in the F1 2020 video games. At least from what I've noticed with the setups, because the tire wear is actually doing the complete opposite. So I'm thinking probably a very easy one-stop, so you might be at a good advantage starting on the medium tires. Just compared to those starting on the soft tires, just considering the amount of time they might be losing once the tires finally do hit the cliff.
Oh, absolutely. The softs, you can extend the stint. The hards, you know, if you have to stop early due to some wing damage at the beginning of the race, you can stop for hards, and you can easily make it to the end of the race.
Oh, yeah.
It's an easy one-stop soft medium, but predictive strategies, it just depends on what we saw guys in Tier 3 just going to hards, wing damage, or just going to hards just because they were trying to make sure they made it to the end. But it just depends on how you race your setup and everything that comes together to...
Oh yeah, yeah, of course the setup plays a bit of a factor. I know in my case I was able to take the mediums about 17, 16 laps, I would say. So I'm sure, and my setup was not, it was a time trial setup, I believe, so definitely not the most tire-friendly setup out there, I would say. So I definitely think the mediums could probably go a good maybe 20 laps if we're able to conserve them a little bit more than the norm. But we'll see how the race goes. And of course there is also the wonderful safety car that we do have to take into account, because that could completely turn the race on its head. But I guess we'll have to see how that plays out when the race actually comes.
One thing I want to mention is INL Felipe, I believe, first race in ISRL, so he's about to start his hot lap.
Yeah, so we'll actually give a little bit of an onboard for those of you watching at home, just to get a nice in-depth look at how he goes around. Looks like he's taking the first few corners very nicely here around Silverstone. Definitely has the pace from what I could see. We'll see what he can do here in this Ferrari car that we've definitely seen can have the pace if handled properly. It's looking like a good lap so far from what I can see. 26.8 in that first sector, so not a bad time, I don't think. I'm not overly familiar with where the average sector times are, just to be completely honest. Oh yeah, a little bit wide there, a little bit of tailspin on the back end as he's coming out of that corner. Doesn't look like it hindered him too much. Going flat out around cops. Oh, and he loses it. And oh no, maybe a bit of a commentator's curse for Felipe, so apologies if you're watching the stream there, but that's his qualifying over just like that, so he's going to be starting at the back of the grid. But good news.
His first race is going to have to be a hard one there, coming from the back.
Yeah, going to be a tough one as Synchro, he crosses the line and sets a 125.1, so he is our new provisional pole sitter now in that Haas car. But thankfully for Felipe, at least as of now, it looks like we only have 15 drivers on the grid. So as long as he's able to finish the race, as much as he's got a lot of work to do to really put on a nice showing, he can at least guarantee points for the end of the session. Of course, for those of you who are new to the stream, the top 15 are all guaranteed points, so as long as they finish the race. So in other words, as long as they don't DNF, it seems like every driver here is going to get some points. Now, looking at the time, so yeah, Synchro's still in first. The top 5 looks like they've all set their times on the soft tires. So Irish Snoot Potato still sticking to those medium tires for the time being, starting in 6th for now, but might have an advantage in terms of the strategy.
Oh, who's that that's off? Oh,
yeah, it looks like that's Feral Fury. That's maybe lost it coming out of that first turn there. It is, as much as it is a flat-out turn that you can take in 7th to 8th gear, it can be a little bit tricky, you know, if the tires aren't in the right temperature, you know, if they're maybe a little bit too worn, even if you clip the curb a little bit too much, it's very easy to lose the back end on that right left.
If you just try and turn in too much, if you've given yourself a bad entry into the corner and you have to overcorrect it on the left, it's just the back end just disappears on you, and next thing you know, you're staring at the pit exit.
Oh, so. Yeah, it can be, yeah, definitely, exactly with that, it can be extremely tricky, as we saw right there. And I'm just going to jump quickly to El Biku. Looks like he has done a lap on those medium tires. I think it got invalidated his first lap, so we'll see what he can do on the second go-around.
Oh, no! Feral Fury just in his way.
Oh, who was that?
Feral Fury was just like parked on the apex of Maggots and Beckett's as Alpiku was coming through.
Oh yeah, I just see that too. I mean, he's behind him now, thankfully, but that might have hindered his time a little bit. We'll see what it comes as he's crossing the line. As Cruz actually crosses the line, sets a 124.9. So here we are seeing the 124. Oh no! And El Biku spins in the last corner, puts a little bit too much gas on the car. I believe, as I've been prone to do numerous times, sort of, maybe. But either way, that he still is able to set a time, a 126.6. So he's definitely probably going to be expecting a 136. Sorry.
He's just not able to recover. Those tires have got to be on fire.
Yeah, they got to be on fire. So he's probably going to be pitting on this lap and probably looking into maybe slapping a set of softs on for his next lap. Now let's see. So yeah, there we go. We'll just quickly we'll give Cruz a little bit of love, being the first driver to break into the 124s, albeit just, but still an impressive feat to see. Considering the 124s seem to be on the very fast end of the times here in qualifying, but
the whole lap in Tier 3 was a 124.63 from Marshmallow, so we can see if anybody in Tier 2 can match that.
Yeah, I mean, there's still 5 minutes to go, so loads of time for for drivers like Synchro, who's maybe sitting in the pits up until about 2-3 minutes now, probably to go out in his last lap. Now I'm seeing, let's see, is this the detail, let's put the best time. So Nathan JB, I just noticed this. He's currently sitting in third. He set a 125.3, which is his best time, and he set that on the mediums. I mean, of course, he's fallen down to fourth now as Feral Fury. He just crossed the line with a 125.1, but that's still putting him in a very good spot on those medium tires, as we were saying before, to maybe have an advantage, especially compared to somebody like the likes of Feral Fury, who is sitting in third, but he's done an extra lap on those softs. So they're gonna probably have a bit more tire wear than the norm, I would think, for the start of the race. Because of course the top 10 do need to start on the tire they set their best qualifying time in. So we'll see how that'll play into effect come the start of the race, if that is going to be his best time.
I just want to bring up the standings right now while we have a moment as
Yeah,
well.
please
Vito
do.
sits in first with 178 points, and 5 points back in second is Gexy. And we've seen all season long that they're always near each other at the end of each race.
Oh yeah, but somebody who's looking to feeling very good around Silverstone, it looks like Irish Nude Potato in that Red Bull car. He crosses the line. He sets a 124.8, so that is good enough for provisional pole. Coming down to the dying minutes of qualifying now. Only 3.5 minutes to go. So, of course, lots of drivers in the pits, maybe looking to get a little bit of a tow, go on their flying laps around the same time. The likes of Cruz, Synchro, Nathan, JB again, even Vito, who is sitting in first in the championship, but currently qualified in sixth spot. And you were mentioning Gexy, he's all the way down into 12th.
Yeah, he's on a flying lap right now.
Yeah, so actually...
the first one. It might be setting a time here. Oh, actually, I think Chris is going to cross the line here in a second. He's 3 tenths up on his time.
All right, yeah, so we'll keep an eye on the side to see what Chris is going to do. Actually, I can jump to him right now as he's going to cross the line. That is good enough for 11th with a 126.1. So maybe now... I don't think he has enough time to go around again, go into the pits and come back out, so he might be looking to set one more time, or maybe that's going to be the time he's going to be comfortable with. Time will tell with that. But let's actually jump back to Gexy and see what he can do.
He's backed out of this lap because he's not running any ERS.
Oh no, yeah, no ERS. He was up he was up a second and a half, and he actually let Bumblebee get right by him after passing him a little bit earlier on in the race. So maybe took a corner wrong. It's not really invalidated, but maybe he's just going to try again, conserve the tires. Since at this point, with 2 minutes to go, a lot of the drivers who are out on track now, it's a little bit of a do or die situation for them, I would say. Just because there is not enough time to go back into the pits and get a new set of tires on. So let's actually ride with them on Gexy. A 126.4 is the time for him to beat. 124.8 is the pole position time set by Irish Potato in that Red Bull, as we saw earlier.
Just gotta keep it nice and tidy here.
Yep, he's a little bit slower, only by a few hundredths of a second on that first sector. So he's going to have a little bit of time to catch up on through sectors 2 and 3. Thankfully, I think Bumblebee is also on a flying lap, so he might not have to worry too much about him. But it looks like they're coming up very closely to, I think that's Cruz in the Mercedes car. Oh no, Bumblebee. Oh yeah, look at that. He didn't validate his times, so now he's still sticking with the ERS, going a little bit wide. Probably going to let Gexy go by now. Yeah, he does. So good job by Cruz and Bumblebee not hindering Gexy's lap. But now if you're Bumblebee, you might just have to go for another lap, because personally I wouldn't be too happy trying to start at P12 if I know I can get a better time. Yeah, so I'll have to see how much that'll affect him. Gexy crosses the line, only a 126.1, so not all that much faster, and he still stays in.
Here, is it really worth starting the race on? You put 2 hot laps in now.
Oh
on those
yeah.
Softs, it's just not worth it. Might as well just start and take your starting position now. Just take your lumps. Start with a brand new set of tires.
Yeah, you're bringing up a good point there, as, yeah, because he is so low. There's no point in taking on that extra tire wear, really, just to get that better starting spot. You're probably better off just putting on the fresh set of tire.
1.2 seconds in sector... What did I see? It was...
looks like that's... Yeah, because he's just starting Sector 1 now. I just jumped on board with him, so maybe that was just a glitch with the outlap. He's still sitting in second in that Mercedes car, but we'll see. He's just about to finish Sector 1, and he's actually slower himself, 5/100 slower than his quickest time. So, oh, and he had a little bit of a lock up there, it looked like. I think I saw a bit of smoke, so that might hinder him a little bit. But we'll see if he can better his time of a 1:24.9. He's going to have to find a 10th if he wants to, maybe a 10th and a half if he wants any chance at that pole position. And now with qualifying being over,
Bumblebee 7/10.
Yeah, so Bumblebee definitely having a better lap this time around if he's up that much. Hopefully he can keep it valid. And oh yeah, Cruz is still going slower, so he's gonna have to find much more time. And look at that, Bumblebee crossing the line. He's in provisional P5. That's
Perry about to cross the line up to third.
Up to third. So let's see, everybody on the soft tires now.
And Thomas Selby's lost it. He was up a 10th on his time and lost it through the club.
Oh no, so that's let's see, where is he right now? Oh my goodness, yeah, he's in 11th, so that might be where he's gonna finish. Cruz went into the pit, so that's his qualifying. So he's ending into the provisional P2. So let's jump with Nathan now. As he's coming around, as I'm seeing more and more times hitting the timing board now. But for the time being, Irish Potato still sitting in provisional pole with the 1:24.5 now as he just crossed the line and actually betters his time. So that's a extremely quick time from Irish Potato, looking very strong here around Silverstone today with Tier 2. Now, I actually don't have the stream up in front of me, so I don't know if Stunik have any insight on this. But of course, there is always weather that can play a factor here. I'm not too sure if we're going to see a dry race or a wet race. Based on...
It's going to be quality dry, as we've seen, and the race will be dry as well.
The race will be dry, okay.
ISRL Chris.
Alright, perfect. So, Chris giving us the insider knowledge here with the weather. I was going to assume a dry... Oh, no, Nathan actually loses the back end. Going around... Oh, and he just... Going for a bit of a... Yeah, taking a bit of a stroll, I guess. Just enjoying the end of qualifying there. So he's going to finish in 7th, and it looks like that's everybody having set a time. So this will bring us to the end of qualifying. With Irish Potato starting on pole, bringing that Red Bull car up right up to the front row of the grid with a 1:24.5. Cruz starting alongside of him, still on the front row too with a 1:24.9. Then we'll see the likes of Feral Fury in that Racing Point and Synchro in the Haas car, P4 and 5, and Bumblebee rounding out the top 5 with a nice 1:25.3. So definitely a good time for him as well, and hopefully he can translate that to a nice showing in the race too.
I really hope to see a good result from Cruz. I mean, I feel like Cruz, he's been with us since Season 1, had great success in Season 1 and Tier 2 until he had the infamous incident with, I believe that was, what was his name? Coxie. And just falling to the back with the likes of New Potato and Vito and Gexy just coming in and taking Tier 2 by storm, so...
Yeah, so I mean, so far Cruz set himself up for a good showing in second, as we didn't quite have a chance to run through the rest of the grid on that screen, but that's quite all right. We've got a formation lap to do that for everybody watching at home. But hopefully, as you're saying, hopefully we can see Cruz translate that strong qualifying showing to a strong race showing as well. Now, as we're probably going to have a bit of an overlap now, a bit of time to, I guess, some time to kill for the time being. We're just giving the drivers a little bit of time to, get in the right mindset for the race, maybe figure out some strategy, get some visualization done, get up, stretch, what have you. But here we are, just in a bit of an idle moment for now, up until we get the okay from the tier leader. So we'll see when that happens. I'm seeing Zola 1000 wasn't able to make it 2-time, and Thomas actually hits the ready up button. So it looks like we will be starting the formation lap in about 20 seconds. So those of you watching the stream in the race might want to get back to your wheels, get back to your setups, and it's time to get started very shortly. I was going to say, it looks like we had Zola that joined in. Didn't make it in time for qualifying, but they will be starting the race in the back. Yeah, taking that Mercedes car there. But here we go. As we're starting the formation lap, let's run through the grid. As we saw, Irish Potato starting on pole, Cruz in second, Feral Fury rounding out the top three, Synchro in fourth in that Haas car, and we've got Bumblebee, a strong showing around Silverstone. So hopefully we can see a strong race from him as well today. As we see the predicted pit stop strategy going softs to mediums or softs to hards if you want to be a little bit more comfortable. Vito, our championship leader, if I recall correctly, starting in sixth. So he's going to have a little bit of work to do. Nathan behind him in that McLaren car with Jordan in eighth. Ivory Brian Mike in ninth, and Elbiku is rounding up the top 10. AJ Wuhan in 11th. Thomas Sell in 12th, Chris in 13th, Gexy in 14th, and Felipe starting in 15th in his inaugural race. So not quite where he wants to be, but definitely should have the pace to try hopefully work his way up the grid with Zola in that Mercedes car. I'm not too sure who he might be, if he's a reserve or not, but it looks like he's going to be starting in 16th. Stunik, do you know anything about Zola at all, or any insider knowledge here before as we're going through the formation lap?
I've never seen this man before in my life.
Yep, so it seems like
I don't know. Maybe I've missed something.
I'm not sure. I mean, I've gotten a little bit of word from the commish. I think he's a little bit unsure as well. So I think we're yeah, that's never good. We're trying to get to the bottom of that, but hopefully in the time being it won't affect the other racers too much. But here we are. We're coming up to the end of the formation lap now. There we go. We see this pit strategy again. Soft to mediums or soft to hards, it seems. Pitting on the same lap, though, so in that case, probably the mediums unless you really don't trust the tire wear. Now, here we go. Let's actually get everything set up. Let's take a look here. Yep, so now we have Nathan, I just noticed, starting in 7th, but he's the only driver in the top 10 on those medium tires. So we'll have to keep an eye out on Nathan as the race goes on. To see if that strategy is going to be better for him. But here we go. Lining up on the grid, we've got the lights. We're up to 3, 4, 5 red lights now. And we're not quite off. Still waiting now. Waiting still. And who is that? Oh, who was that? Was that Bumblebee who had a bit of a jump start there? But either way, now we're off with the Cruz jumping right up into first now. Feral Fury falling down to second. We've got Irish Potato having a terrible start down in third, maybe in fourth. We've got a yellow flag, and that's Ivory Brian Mike all the way at the back. So I'm not too sure what happened to him if he wasn't paying attention. But he's fallen all the way down to the back of the grid. But Cruz, what a start by him. Starting up in first, Feral Fury right behind him in second, and Irish Potato falling down to third right off the start. Vito working his way back up the grid, just making a move on Synchro up for fourth. Synchro falls down to fifth on that Haas car with Nathan right behind him on those medium tires. Moving up a position past Nelbiku, he himself, I think he's going side by side with Thomas, or just as I think he's able to hold on to that spot. And no, look at that. Thomas does go down the inside of Cops and is able to take that 7th spot back from Elbiku. Chris working his way up from 12th, just making a move on AJ Wuhan. So AJ, he took a little bit of wing damage into earlier on, so that's going to hinder him a little bit. And look at that, Irish Potato going down the inside of Feral Fury. So he is working his way back up into second. He's going to have to work to get back to Cruz. But I think Feral Fury is not giving up that spot without a fight. Still going side by side, but I think he's going to have to hold off for the time being. But exciting scenes here on the first lap. But through all of that, Cruz has already gotten a 1.5 second gap to the likes of Irish Potato and everybody else as they're stuck battling amongst each other. Looks like we're seeing that glitch again of the fastest lap, so we're gonna have to keep an eye on what happens there. As Vito and Synchro, they're battling it out. They're going side by side. Vito just barely has the edge for the time being, but Synchro is not giving up without a fight. He is able to bring it around the outside, it looks like. and is able to get that 4th spot back from Vito, who falls down into 5th. And Vito, if he wants, knowing where, oh my goodness, Gexy is down in 11th, he's going to have to get a move on if he wants to really, you know, grow that gap in the championship compared to Gexy. But for the time being, it is Cruz, Irish Potato, and Feral Fury rounding out the top 3.
Yes, Ira and Mike are going to have to serve a drive-through penalty for a jump start.
Oh, so he did get a jump start. Now I saw, oh, and who was that? That was Vito, struggling through Maggots and Beckett's, it looked like. Sorry to cut you off there. And he's fallen all the way down the order, down into 11th. And Gexy actually passes him. He's up into 9th now as he passes the likes of Bumblebee, who he himself, starting from 5th, falling down the order. And Bumblebee going into the pits.
Yeah, he slammed on the brakes, and Vito ran into the back of Bumblebee there. He just got damage to the wing.
Oh, let's take a look at that. It doesn't look like it's too much damage for Vito from what I can see, unless it was Bumblebee who took most of the damage. But I feel like Bumblebee might have had a bit of a jump start earlier on from what I saw, at least on our end of the stream. So he might have to go serve that that drive-through as well. So not the
Mike and Bumblebee jumped to start.
Yeah, so definitely not the start they were hoping to see. But you know, there's still 23 laps to go, so lots of race to be had here around Silverstone, so loads of time to catch up. Now let's take a quick peek at the no, I want the interval. Let's take a look at the tires. So yeah, Nathan had a very good start up into 5th. So he's having a very strong race, I guess I could say, as Irish Potato actually takes a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, it appears. But he's closed the gap very quickly on Cruz. So I think Irish Potato just had a bit of a slow start, but now that he's got the heat in the tires, getting a feel for the car in the actual race conditions, working on closing that gap. Now, who is that? Vito and Gexy, they're still battling it out, albeit we'd like to see them battling it out for the lead, but seeing them battle on track is always exciting, given they are the championship leaders. Now, look at this, El Biku closing the gap very quickly on Thomas as they're crossing the start-finish straight. We'll see what happens if he can make the move. Let's actually give the onboard, it's a better camera angle. It looks like El Biku will be staying in 7th for the time being. Now, oh, what happened here? We've got a full safety car as that's Bumblebee out.
Bumblebee's out.
What happened here?
Gone?
Let's ride with Chris. What happened? Oh,
she must have lost it coming out of Stowe, and he just served his drive-through penalty.
Yeah, just serving a drive-through. Maybe cold tires. Yeah, losing it out of Stowe, as you said, maybe just clipping a little bit too much of the curb, losing the grip of the car, and you hit a point. Once you're in the grass, into the gravel, you're pretty much a passenger and just hoping for the best. So, I mean, good news, I guess, that we get at least a little bit of a breather now, since the race has been pretty much neutralized for the next few laps. But now, if you're the likes of Synchro, you're probably extremely happy about that, given that Irish Potato and Cruz have been growing a bit of a gap on them. So now, of course, the grid will be brought right back up very close to one another. Now, I'm a little bit curious to see if anybody's going to try an undercut extreme now here on lap 3, lap 4. Maybe put on a set of hard tires to the end of the race. And speaking of, you've got Feral Fury going into the pits, Thomas L going into the pits, El Biku going into the pits, Jordan going into the pits, Vito going into the pits. So they're all going to be trying this very early one-stop, I would think, going soft to mediums or even soft to hards, depending on what the strategy is.
Oh, they're putting on mediums. You can take mediums easily. Ooh, Jordan just kind of cuts off Feral there, but there's nothing. That's all AI controlled.
Oh yes. Oh, okay. But yeah, so I mean, like I was mentioning in qualifying, we're right around that 20 lap mark now for those medium tires. So if you trust the tire wear, the tire degradation, I guess I should say, with the car setup you have, it is definitely feasible, I would think, to take those medium tires 20 laps,
Yeah,
especially with at least another lap or two probably going to be under the safety car. And, we're
Toma's
all...
probably trying to do a different strategy, just trying to go on the hards, and he's looked behind him at everybody that's pit, and they're all on a softer tire.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. But I mean, if you're Thomasell, the one good news you have is that you probably don't have to worry about the tire wear as much as Elbiku, Jordan, Field Fury, and all those other drivers going on the hard tires. And I'm noticing too, Vito, he also opted for the hard tires, and he's a championship leader. So I think those going on the hard tires probably have just the mindset of once the restart happens, maybe just push as much as you can, try to at least keep up, because if you can keep the pressure on these medium tire drivers, they might have to pit again just due to lack of tire wear from having to defend positions.
Yeah, crucially, Vito and Gexy on different strategies. Vito can take these tires easily to the end of the race. Gexy didn't hit because
Yeah, I was gonna say almost. Yeah, almost completely hindered himself a little bit. And who is that? That's Thomasell going back into the pits. So
yeah, he realized that he might not have made the right call there to go onto the hards. We'll see if he's got mediums waiting for him.
yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Maybe that was just a bit of a miscommunication between the driver and the pit crew there, slapping on the wrong set of tires.
Changing his wing, something must have happened under safety car.
Yeah, so he must have had maybe a bit of an incident, but he's going to opt now for those medium tires. But that's might affect his race at least a little bit. Now, since he's going to have to wait for the wing change. Now, what's going on here? Okay, so that's Zola just ghosting under the safety car. Not too sure what's going on. As there's a whole kerfuffle. Let's actually jump out of the onboard if we can actually get a decent view of what was going on there.
He left the session before the start of the race. He had to be somebody's friend in here.
Oh yeah, must have been, but that's a little unfortunate now that we're gonna have this ghosted car that, especially under safety car, could cause some issues for some of the other drivers just trying to stay behind him and of course try to keep an eye on who's in front of Zola, right? So if you're the likes of Feral Fury, trying to pay attention to Zola and figure out where he is in respect to Jordan. But either way, it looks like everybody's caught up to the grid, and we haven't spoken about him too much. But Ivory Brian Mike, he's back in the race now after being way behind after having to serve a penalty for the jump start. And I think he had to change his wing too, being caught up maybe on an incident earlier on. He's actually right up back with the grid as the safety car will be coming in this lap. Well, yeah, so definitely Ivory Brian Mike's race not over just yet, because he definitely could have the pace to make some moves on the restart of the safety car. But speaking of, let's go back to the leaders now, as Cruz is now the de facto safety car. So we'll see how he's going to handle this restart with Irish Potato right up behind him, and Irish Potato definitely having the pace on those soft tires.
Saw what happened earlier when a Mercedes led the pack back to a safety car's restart.
Yep, we saw that, but yeah, so it looks like Cruz does get a bit of a good, does get a decent start, but Irish Potato keeping him honest. But looking at Synchro is able to stay close, so nothing too crazy. But look at that, that's Gexy who had a great start under the safety car, right up behind Nathan. Feral Fury passing Zola, who's probably going to be falling down the order very quickly now as the ghosted vehicle. But yeah, Irish Nude Potato now staying very close to Cruz. Maybe a little bit too far to make a move down this straight without any DRS. But so as long as he is able to keep that gap honest, once the DRS does get enabled again, he is going to be in a very good spot. But even looking at the top three now, they're all on the soft tires. So the other thing to keep in mind is, when are those tires going to start falling off a cliff? Because we're already starting to see Elbiku closing up the gap to Gexy very quickly on those fresher medium tires compared to Gexy, who opted to stay out. on his medium tires. And oh no, Irish Potato
gets a 3-second penalty. He was closing the gap to Cruz. He was right on the back from Maggots and Beckett's, went a little bit wide on the exit.
Yeah, just pushing a little bit too hard. And what happened there? I think that was Ivory Brian Mike. Yeah, going for a little bit of a journey around Cop's corner. Thankfully, there's no damage from what I can see here on the car. But that's definitely going to set him back now to the rest of the pack after receiving a bit of a gift in the form of a safety car. But I want to jump back to Elbeek, who's right up behind Gexy, very, very close now. And we might actually see a move going into this corner, trying now around the outside that will be turning into the inside. But no, Gexy is able to close the door. I did see AJ Wuhan making some moves on the likes of Felipe. So Felipe is in 11th, but it looks like he opted to stay out on those soft tires. Since they are on 7 laps, at least from what I can see here on the timing board. Here we go. Feral Fury and Jordan battling it out. Looked like Feral Fury was able to get a move done down the first DRS straight, but Jordan keeping him very honest, very, very close. And is he gonna try something down Magnus and Beckett's? No, he's thinking a little bit smarter on that. And who was that? Thomasell passing Cruz.
Might have a pass for the lead here.
No, well, actually, let's jump to that quickly as they got very, very close. Oh, look at that. Yeah, Cruz. I just saw a little bit of... And look, that's Synchro up into first. Through all of that, Synchro was able to just buy his time, and he just swipes the first spot away from Irish Potato, and that's Ivory Brian Mike, who actually DNFs. Now, I'm not too sure if he crashed out a lap later from where he had to spin, or if he just retired from the session. But that's Ivory Brian Mike's race over just like that here on lap 9. Definitely wasn't feeling the setup all that much. But Cruz, unfortunately, from hero to zero, as he's going to have to go into the pits, changes... I don't know if he had a wing change, but now he's in last place, putting on the medium tires. So we might have to, the stewards might have to take a quick look at that, as Feral
Potato just absolutely sent it. It was never gonna work. It's just
Cruz
just has the worst luck. You just feel so bad because,
yeah, that was very very upsetting if you're Cruz with that. I only caught that on the stream right at the end. I think I saw the contact, but I was with Irish Potatoes, so I only got to see Cruz after it was too late, thanks to the angles the game was willing to give me. But unfortunately for Cruz, that's he's fallen all the way down to 14th, so he's just gonna have to keep his head down, try to close up the gap as much as he can to really to hopefully pass under the safety car, or not under the safety car, but during the pit stops. Felipe and AJ Wuhan battling it out. Looks like there's a bit of tire tapping here between Felipe and Thomasell. They're side by side now as we finally get a better camera angle, and Felipe doing a good job of closing the gap, being alert of AJ Wuhan, who's trying to work his way down as he's battling it out with Thomasell. So solid 3-car battle we have going here. AJ Wuhan trying to go around the outside, which turns into the inside of Felipe. There's a little bit of contact and a little bit of wiggle. And what's that? Felipe had to go a little bit wide, I believe. So he's probably the biggest loser of that battle, falling now a second behind AJ Wuhan just due to that contact. And Thomasell still able to stay in 9th. Now Vito and Jordan, they're very close to one another. Vito trying to work his way back up the grid on those hard tires. Irish Potato does take another 3-second penalty there, as I see. But I think Vito is playing things a little bit slower. Knows he still has 16 laps to go. He's on the he's on the hard tires compared to the mediums to Jordan. But I think he knows as long as he keeps Jordan honest, that's going to involve a lot of pushing by Jordan that he might not want to be doing in this stage of the race. Now I'm seeing Feral Fury having some strong pace, actually passing El Biku down the hanger straight for that 4th. Now AJ Wuhan and Felipe battling it out once again. Are we going to see them going side by side again? Oh, AJ Wuhan trying down the inside, but it looks like Felipe just has a bit more traction, so he is able to take that 10th spot back from AJ Wuhan. So going from a second behind to actually passing him again, but this battle is showing no signs of ending here on lap 11, at least from what I can see, so I'm going to want to keep an eye on him. But not for too long, because it does look like Synchro and Irish Potato are very close to one another. Synchro still able to hold on to the lead, but we'll see what's going to happen as we come through this the back sections of the race. Now Phil Fury and El Biku getting very close to one another. Jordan and Gexy side by side, the teammates. They're going to have to be careful here to make sure they don't ruin each other's race. Looks like they're doing a good job of...
strategy. You got to let them by.
Yeah, you got to let Jordan by, and I think Gexy was aware of that, as he doesn't put too much of a battle, because he knows, Gexy, I think he knows his battle is more with the driver behind him compared to the driver who's in front of him for now, because he's got Vito on that fresher set of hard tires right up behind him. Now, hang on, Irish Potato very close to Synchro, but just not enough room. And actually, Irish Potato gets a big tank slapper and actually uses the opportunity to go into the pits. Same thing with Synchro, who he's going to get off those soft tires. So that's actually going to promote Nathan, who's starting on those medium tires. I mentioned to keep an eye on him. So he's now on the medium tires. He will still have to pit, but he's going to have he's going to at least be able to keep it. He was able to keep it clean. Yeah, and Thomasell, he actually went for a bit of a journey through the through that last corner section there. He falls down into 8th, but thankfully, due to everybody else pitting, he's not losing out on too much of a spot here. Let's actually take a look at Vito right up behind Gexy, who was he's close. Yeah, we've seen this before, but not quite enough room to actually get the move done. But for the time being, we've got Nathan in first, Feral Fury in second, and El Biku rounding out the top 3. As I'm just trying to keep an eye on all these, I'm just trying to keep an eye on all the battles we have going on. Yeah, it looks like probably Vito and Gexy, which is the battle we all wanted to see. Maybe not for the positions we wanted to see at home, but watching the the top 2 in the championship battling it out is always it's always exciting. And it seems like no matter what happens, we're just destined to see Vito and Gexy battling one another on track.
Yep, only separated by those 5 points. So.
Yeah, but now the other thing too is that if you're Gexy, as much as Jordan's on a different strategy, he's on the fresher set of tires. Gexy's been able to stay very close to Jordan, so I'm not too sure if that's actually gonna be affecting Gexy more than it's helping him, compared to having his teammate behind him. But I do think they are both very similar in pace, as Vito tries it down the outside. I don't know if he had the DRS, but they're still going side by side. It's still anybody's spot, but look at that. Vito gets the better traction down the outside, which turned into the inside, and he goes up into 5th. And Gexy, I think he might be starting to feel a little bit of wear on those medium tires, because he falls down to 6th now, and he loses out in that spot to Vito.
They're about halfway, so.
Yep, halfway. So loads of racing to go still on this British Grand Prix. Now, I do want to say Nathan's doing a very good job of keeping a 2-second gap to Feral Fury, albeit, like I said, he will still have to pit, but he is going to be staying out for another lap now. But he's in a good spot now to pit onto the soft tires and really push that McLaren car to the end of the race. And we see now that the pit window is open for those medium tire drivers to go onto the softs up until the end of the race, if you're willing to take them 12 laps. Now Vito getting very close to Jordan as he's trying to work his way back up the grid on those hard tires. Not able to make a move down the start-finish straight through that through the first corners section there, but we'll see if he can do it with the DRS. And Gexy already falling a second behind Vito. So Gexy definitely feeling the tire wear, and oh my goodness, look at that. Vito just making it look easy, but actually Jordan actually pulls a bit of a switchback move, so he's able to hold on to that 4th spot. And Vito's gonna have to spend probably the next little bit now back behind Jordan once again. But we'll see now after if he can keep him close on around Magnus and Beckett's, he will be able to get a very good run down the hanger straight. But time will tell, because it is a very tricky section, because just one mistake and you're going to be losing it right before this DRS section. Doing a good job, and look at the pace he has. And was that Thomasell going very slow right before Magnus and Beckett, as Vito is able to make the move stick this time around. Let's take a look here. I think maybe had a bit of an incident through cops, maybe just spinning it out, but no damage for Thomasell, so just a few lost spots.
Yeah, Vito can get set now to pick down LBQ to take that final podium spot.
Yeah, but they might have to, well, I mean, Nathan is going to have to pit, so Vito, I think, is still sitting in a net podium spot, but Irish Potato getting very close to Synchro as he's trying to work his way back up. Let's see, we'll give the onboard of Irish Potato, since it looks like that's the smallest gap. Will Synchro be able to get the traction and hold him off? Let's take a look here. He does have the DRS, but no, he was a little bit too far out. Holding off this time around is Irish Potato in that Red Bull, but probably buying his time, looking to stay close to him through this back portion of the track, and maybe get a move done down the hanger straight, as we've seen so many times this race alone. Now he is very close to Synchro, as Felipe he takes a 3-second time penalty, and look at that, Nathan, he's going into the pits now after 14 laps. So with this slow pit lane around Silverstone, we'll see how far he's going to fall. Yeah, Gexy going into the pits, and Nude Potato is able to make the move fairly easily on Synchro. So he's up into 8th, and now the big question is, can he pass the likes of Nathan and Gexy to show that undercut is working? It is going to be close, as I believe they are both exiting the pits. But Irish Potato, he sets a fastest sector 3, so it is close, but he is able to overtake them on track. So it does look like as if the undercut was the better move to make, at least here earlier on, as Gexy, he's fallen right back down the order to 11th, and Nathan going from 1st to 9th. But he will have the tire advantage working for him here with about 10 laps to go. But for now, we've got Feral Fury in the lead, LBQ in 2nd, and Vito in 3rd.
Yeah, LBQ and Feral Fury gotta be easy with their tires, because it's gonna hit a certain point where they're gonna drop off, and Vito's gonna be right there with those hards, so...
Oh yeah, and that's what we were talking about a little bit earlier on, when they did opt to pit under the safety car. Of as much as the hard tires maybe didn't seem like the best option for the time being, if you're looking to go to the end with that early of a safety car, you really have to do a lot of tire management if you went on the medium tires, compared to Vito, which, as we've seen, he hasn't had to worry as much about the the tire conservation. He's just been able to push for the for the better part of the race now, and he's probably in a bit more of a comfortable spot, especially if he's able to put pressure on the likes of LBQ and Feral Fury. Gexy, he's trying to work his way back up the grid with these soft tires, going side by side now with Felipe, swapping down the inside, giving Felipe the outside. They're very close to one another, but it looks like Felipe doing a very good job of holding him off, and that's very, very good by both those drivers, keeping it clean in a section where it's not as easy to keep clean as you might think. Nathan JB making a move look pretty easy, I guess, around Thomas, not even needing the DRS. And look at this, Gexy and Felipe going side by side through that exact same section. Gexy, I think, is holding off for the sake of making that safer move down this down this straight here with the DRS, pops it open, going down the inside, not even giving Felipe the option to move down the inside, and look at that. It is a bit of an easy move for Gexy on the top, on the softer tires, but actually no. Felipe trying to keep him honest, trying to go back down the outside, but just not quite the traction. That's Thomas. Yeah, Tomastel crashing. So let's take a look at the onboard. Where is he? He's on that right-hand side there. So in the exact same way. Yeah, so in the exact same way we saw Ivory Brian Mike losing the car on his end, that's another victim of that that high-speed cops corner there. Because I mean, as much as you can take it full, and we have a VSC actually that was caused by it. So a bit of a breather now for the drivers, as now they're just gonna have to respect the delta.
Everybody has to watch their deltas. We've seen it before.
Yep.
They'll just nick you.
Oh yeah, they'll catch you, especially in these slow corner sections. That delta falls very low, as actually we're seeing with the likes of Synchro and Irish Potato, as they're going very, very slow here. And Synchro, he actually gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. We were just talking about it, and now we're back to green, so that's definitely going to hinder him very much so, as he actually was set up. He had set himself up very well for a good finish.
Look at the gap. Vito's dropped 1.8. 5 Vito's in the lead of the championship here. It's not just about what you're doing on the racetrack, but as drivers on the game, we also have to do the strategy called ourselves. So using a bit of smarts, outsmarting the field, didn't qualify well, but here he is at the end fighting for P2.
Oh yeah, just going smart with the manual call strategy. And you know, somebody else is looking very strong is Feral Fury. As much as he did make that early pit stop, I believe, under that initial safety car, he did a very good job of, once he got the lead, he was just pushing. He's making a gap. So now, even if the tires do start falling off for him, he still has a nice 5-second gap to El Biku, right? And he knows Vito, he's going to have to work to actually get that move done. So Feral Fury's in a very good spot now with 7 laps to go. And that's Gexy. What happened to Gexy?
Oh no!
Oh my goodness! Going into that the Stowe corner there, he's out on the left-hand side. So I'm not too sure if he just lost the car or if he had some damage. And that's actually a VSC, and that's going to see Felipe going into the pits. So he might be looking to get those soft tires on to push before the end of the race. So
was there an incident with Gexy?
I don't know. I saw the flags and noticed Gexy was out of the race, but I didn't quite get to see what happened. I completely missed it, so sorry for everyone watching at home who wanted to see what happened there. But unfortunately, that's Gexy. Vito probably very happy now as they're going back to green, because his championship rival will actually not score any points, since as much as he's going to be finishing in 13th, he's not finishing the race.
Right now, when they were right beside each other going down the hangar straight, so there had to have been contact. Oh my god, yes.
Between who? Gexy and who?
Felipe.
Oh.
Something happened. I looked back on the stream, they were just one solid dot, being the Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari, and all of a sudden you just see one dot jet to the left, and then we saw the retired indicator, so...
Oh, okay, yeah, so we'll have to take a look at that. Maybe the stewards will get involved, depending on the severity of the incident, and that's Synchro going into the pits. He's going to be serving his drive-through penalty now, I believe. Now, unfortunately for him, Silverstone is a very long pit. It is a very long pit lane. It is a very slow pit lane. So it seems like he's going to be losing a lot of time, probably a good 30 seconds just having to drive through that. So now the big question is, will AJ Wuhan catch up to him, or will he be able to make it out in time? And it does look like AJ will be passing him on track. Yep, we just saw it there. But actually, Vito is very close to El Biku, as I'm just going to jump from one to another. Yeah, so that's...
fighting for P2.
Yeah, exactly. So that's not what Gexy's hoping to see. Here with 20 laps to go, Vito getting very close. Let's actually give the onboard quickly now, as he's gonna go down the inside. Vito just trying to taking the outside lane, and yeah, Vito making a very, oh my goodness, Felipe gets a 10-second time penalty for corner cutting. So that's probably much more than just a time penalty there. Oh my goodness, he's doing donuts. Yeah, he's doing donuts into that first sector. So definitely not the debut you want to see if you're Felipe.
And he's around again.
And he's around again. Oh, and he takes some wing damage. So that's going from bad to worse. So he's gonna have to trek around the.
Right behind him as well.
Yeah, thankfully he will be ghosting, but he's going to have to trek around the... and there's a virtual safety car now out again, and that was right as, I believe, Vito and Elbiku were very close to one another, so maybe Elbiku is trying to make a move on Vito, but now we have a virtual safety car coming out. And I believe that probably was for Felipe's incident, unless there was something else going on.
Oh, man. That's...
So crazy scenes that we've seen here with 4 DNFs, but after all of that, Feral Fury still in the lead here on lap 21 with 5 laps to go. Vito in second, Elbiku in third, as we are now back to racing.
Again.
Oh no, and Synchro just going from bad to worse as he's gonna have to take another drive through. So definitely I feel some frustration probably brewing in the Haas garage. If you're Synchro, especially seeing his teammate fighting it out for a podium, and especially if you're Synchro, you know that you would have been right there, and that's I think Felipe going into the pits now, getting that wing, and he gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane on top of that. So things are going from bad to worse, and yep, as I suspected, that's he's going to retire the car, cut his losses. Not the debut you want to see for Felipe, but the good news is he did actually retire in the pit lane, so no extra repercussions for retiring on track, as I was a little bit worried he was going to do after those incidents. But if we
right DRS range of Vito, bring the fight back to him.
Yeah, so Elbiku looking to bring the fight back, and Irish Potato, he's actually down to half a second on Chris. Chris is on 18-lap-old hard tires, so definitely advantage Irish Potato. And look at that, very easy moves if you're the Red Bull driver there. The better tires, but he actually got a 3-second time penalty.
So far for him.
Yeah, so Irish Potato, he's really gonna have to start pushing now, just because he might be falling right back down the order with those penalties. But now Nathan is going to have to... Nathan on those soft tires, he's looking to put some pressure on his teammate. Hopefully they won't battle too much, just because they're still both going to be earning some pretty solid points for the team, and you'd hate to see that go to waste just due to a teammate incident.
Absolutely.
Well, let's actually take a look. They're going down. They both have DRS, so it's really just a drag race. And yeah, Chris does a very good job of keeping him honest, but not battling as much as he probably could with his teammate there. So that's Nathan up into 6th. Now Elbiku is still keeping Vito very honest, so let's actually keep an eye on him, since I believe that is still the closest gap we're gonna have here on track. That isn't a teammate battle.
Oh, sorry, mic issue right there.
That's quite all right.
3-second penalty.
Yeah, so that'll definitely count towards his time.
Fury, you want to see these guys battling. It's just, I believe this will be Feral Fury's first win. So.
Yeah, that's I don't remember him. I don't remember seeing a win here in Tier 2 for him. So you're bringing up a good. You're bringing up a good point here. That Feral Fury's had a solid drive, and he's very much on pace for his first win, because he still has nearly a 6-second gap on Vito, and the top 4, they're all on 17-lap-old tires. So
yeah, they all came in with that first safety car. So
yeah, so it seems like as if those who opted to pit on those first safety cars to go long, they're actually at a very strong. That seems to be the call that basically did the race for them.
Absolutely. Nathan bearing down on New Potato.
Yep, and he's on those soft tires.
ERS,
yeah, no ERS. We'll have to keep an eye. He does have the tire advantage on the soft tires, so as long as they don't start falling off the cliff. But as we saw at Silverstone, those soft tires can go a long time. You can still get some grip going nearly 10 laps. And look at that. We just saw that. He had a purple sector 3 for Nathan. So really going to be putting the pressure on Irish Potato trying to get into the top 5.
He really needed Chris to get out away from him, so good to Chris to let him by.
Yeah, but I think Chris knew on those 20-lap-old hard tires, his teammate is not the person he wants to be battling. He's probably more focused on the driver behind him that most likely could be catching up at a rate of knots with on the fresher tires. But
yeah, I gotta say, good recovery from Cruz. Very unfortunate. He had the pace today for a podium. It just didn't go his way.
Yeah, it didn't go his way, but he still has 2 laps to go to try to close that 6-second gap on Cruz, albeit maybe a little bit crazy, assuming that at this point in time. But, you know, for Cruz's sake, we can hope. But somebody who really has kept the gap very close is Nathan on those soft tires. It's his 3/10 now. Is it going to go down the hanger straight? He's going to have DRS. Where is he going to go? To the outside or to the inside? He's going to go to the inside as Irish Potato takes the outside. It looks like there's a little bit of wheel contact from what I saw. Nothing too crazy. They both come out clean. And that's Nathan going up into 5th now. So he's on a mission with 2 laps to go to try to now hold on to that 5th spot. Somebody else who's on a mission other than Irish Potato looking to take that spot back is probably El Biku, hoping to keep, you know, he's trying to keep that gap on Vito. He still does get the DRS for the time being, but I think Vito's doing a very good job of growing the gap to El Biku and just holding on to that 2nd spot.
Really a lot of battles here on track.
No, the closest, yeah.
Can't get to Nathan.
Yeah, not quite, but I'm still gonna keep an eye on this battle since it is the closest one. Since it seems like other than that, the gaps have formed here on this on the penultimate lap. With Feral Fury having a strong race, 6 seconds ahead of Vito in 2nd, who is now, I noticed that quickly, kind of cool, 1 point. For a little bit. Let's take a look. Irish Potato, he has DRS, so is he going to try to make a move again? Nathan J. line, trying to close that off, and he is able to hold Irish Potato off, but now we've got 1 lap to go as the leaders have just crossed the, well, not just crossed the line. But now I do have to say, it has, yeah, good race from Fury, and I haven't really seen his name pop up on the bottom in terms of penalties either.
No,
so that might be a solid net finish for him. But there's still a good half a lap to go with a lot of danger zones, and on 20-lap-old medium tires, anything can happen.
That tire is graining. You can see it from the onboard.
Yeah, I'll jump on the onboard in just a moment. Just going to make sure that I'm not going to miss anything on the likes of Irish Potato, Nathan JB. Looks like that's the way it's going to be. So let's give Feral Fury some love. Haven't really watched him all race, but as he's going around Magnuson Beckett's and about to hit the hanger straight, we can see solid race from him as he's got nobody in front of him, taking those medium tires 20 laps. So he definitely felt comfortable in that Racing Point car. And as he's only got now 2-3 corners to go, it looks like it's going to be a very strong finish for him. Now, as much as I want to see him cross the line, I'm just going to take a quick peek here as Irish Potato goes down the inside. Is he going to make the move stick? They're going to go side by side here. They're still side by side. They're not giving each other room. And it looks like Irish Potato is able to hold on to that position for the time being. Yes, he does. He gets it on track. But he's going to have the penalties. Crosses the line, and yeah, El Biku finishes in 4th, Nathan in 5th, and Chris actually crossing the line in 5th, keeping a cleaner race. But all eyes now on Feral Fury, who takes the lead. Cruz crosses in 7th, so I mean, if there is a little bit of a silver lining for for Cruz is that he was able to finish at the end of the race higher than the driver who seemingly, allegedly, because I did not see it on stream, hindered his race a little bit earlier on. But still, congratulations to Fatal Fury on what I believe might be his first win here in ISRL, and Vito with a solid recovery drive after maybe not the best qualifying, coming in second. And even Jordan, a nice race from him, taking those medium tires 20 laps, coming in, taking that last podium spot, now that it's all said and done. But what a race, and it honestly feels like it just flew by.
It was when we had the one safety car, a couple of VSCs, a bit of incidents here and there. We had a random driver join, but quit immediately. 2 jump starts. It's a mouthful there, but at the end of the day, Fatal Fury puts together a good strategy. And Vito too, coming from, I believe he was 6th on the grid to finish P2. Solid haul of point for him as his rival retired. So.
Oh yeah, as we get to see the podium there, a very excited Fatal Fury doing the jump, doing the fist bump, accepting the winner's trophy there, and probably very happy to be seeing that racing, taking that racing point, seeing it cross the line first, enjoying the champagne, enjoying the win, and enjoying that celebration with everybody on the podium there. But let's actually.
He's very upset on the Discord right now, understandably so. With
oh yeah.
Potato.
Yeah, understandably for him after what happened, but there we go. Yeah, Fatal Fury starting in 3rd, coming in 1st. Vito in 2nd from after qualifying in 6th, so a strong race. Jordan coming in 3rd after qualifying in 8th, and look at that, Ilbiku finishing in 4th after qualifying in 10th, and Chris starting in 13th and finishing in 5th. So solid recovery drives from many of these drivers. Nathan in 6th, Cruz in 7th. As I'm just gonna have to go down to the bottom of the grid just because we're about to. Oh, nope. Now the session is ending. So yeah, Chris in 5th. Nathan coming in 6th. So still a good drive from him after qualifying in 7th. Cruz definitely probably upset with that after having such a strong qualifying position. An Irish Potato after qualifying in 1st, finishing in 8th. After 20 seconds of penalties, it looks like. AJ Wuhan in 9th, and Synchro rounding out the top 10. He was probably hoping for a better finish, but unfortunately, a few drive-through penalties. But that actually rounds out the top 10, as I'm not going to worry too much about Zola, and that's everybody else, unfortunately, not finishing the race, so not really getting points. So it seems like we're just getting points for the top 10. Here, at least this race, so definitely a good haul of points if you were able to finish.
Absolutely, Jordan bringing to our attention this is his first actual podium that he's taken on track instead of post-race penalties. So.
Oh, really? Well, congratulations to Jordan. Shout out to him here on stream for the first true podium. So it's almost looking like a weekend of firsts here for ISRL. So far, so
on one end of the grid we have absolute jubilation, and at other ends of the grid we just have absolute disappointment in Gexy, Cruz. But Vito's got to feel really good about this race here.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's got to feel good, especially knowing his championship rival didn't finish, so not even getting any points. So that's huge for him now, as we're near right a little bit past the 1/3 mark of the calendar, maybe around halfway. So yeah, definitely feeling good now on his finish. So now, do you have to say, are we getting any interviews in today, or are we gonna hold off on that for the week?
I was thinking hold off. I have just been going nonstop, as me and you did Tier 3 as well, and immediately jumped into this.
Alrighty. Yeah, so we'll hold off on the interviews for the time being, as much as we probably could. You know, just let everyone kind of cool off a little bit after going back to back now. But as I'm just gonna bring up the no, that's not what I'm looking for. As I'm gonna bring up the showroom quickly and show off that winning car here, the Racing Point I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching the stream. Congrats to the winners, the podium sitters, and it was a solid race for everybody involved, I think, for the most part. Make sure to tune in about a little bit under 30 minutes time, where you'll have Tier 1, the best of the best, taking Silverstone circuit, and we'll see if Sweet Crown 19 can extend his his lead of the championship, or if anybody will actually take the battle to him. Like I said, that's in about maybe 25 minutes time from now. But for the time being, I've been Fallen Monkeys, and on behalf of myself, Astunik, and everybody else here, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day.
Yep, join us.